KO7HQR, anybody run for the SSTV Net?
This is KP4MD. I just got the YouTube started and it's live. KP4MD.
Roger, so nobody else is around, we'll give it a try. Good evening. This is Neil Kilo Lima Summer Hotel Quebec Romeo, net control operator for the River City Arcs slow scan television net tonight. This net serves for training and practicing and image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 1441.30 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed amateur radio operators are welcome to participate. I have had problems with my transmission in the past. We'll see if this works okay. If there is any problems with, please advise me on the next break. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign in between transmissions. The net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact net control by saying a break. As always, the double break signifies an emergency traffic. The net will stand by until the emergency is terminated or is transferred to another frequency. Patients who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Any station who wishes to check into the net at this time, please come now.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec.
Good evening, Bob, and 6PGQ. Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta Carol, Citrus Heights.
Anybody else for the slow scan television tonight? We'll check KP4MD as the third person. And let's see, anybody else? Otherwise, we're going to have a very short net tonight. I see that Craig was on YouTube. Good evening, Craig. And let's see if we have enough people to have a little bit of a net tonight. Anybody else? And I see that N6PRD also on the YouTube tonight. Okay, apparently we don't have anybody else. So let's see, Bob, you're the first one. If you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, this is going to be PD 120 N6PGQ.
Bob, very, very good reception here. Black and white picture, and I'll leave the description for later. Let's see, before we go to Carol for the comment, anybody else on frequency that would like to participate on the slow scan television net tonight? I guess we are the Three Musketeers, or the Three Stooges, I don't know. Carol, KP4MD, how did you get the picture?
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. This is not really a black and white picture. If you look closely at the terminal strips down on the bottom, you'll see some colored wires, different colored wires going to those screws. And see a bunch of PL259s with jumpers, coaxial, probably RG8U type cable. One of them on the left there looks like there's a box with one cable with some what they call coaxial, or it looks like it's weatherproofed. And then there's a number of other PL259s that are not taped around. So I don't know what that is. That might be some kind of a switch box, a remote switch box perhaps. And then all of these cables are going through, I don't know what those are, lightning arresters or ferrite chokes. 5 of them in a row there. We have the jumpers going in one side and then other cables coming out the other side. I wonder if this has something to do with your antenna setup there, Neil. It's no, it's I mean, it's actually, that was Bob. You sent that. Let me think. Yeah, I know you have a number of antennas there. You have the big what they call it, the beam, the step IR, and then you've got a vertical. And I think you got some dipoles also. Maybe this is a remote switch box for that sort of thing. Back to net control. This is KP4MD.
KP4MD, KL7HQR. Yeah, you have good eyes there, Carol. You're actually looking there. I see the red and green wires. So looks eye situations there. My eye situation are equivalent, so I didn't see it until you called my attention to it. I don't know if this is Bob. It looks to me like it is a remote switch, a single, very heavy coax coming in the middle on the box on the left, and then many different other coax going in, connecting on top, and I believe the bottom is where they actually go to the antennas. But if it was Bob's, I've been there many times. I don't think this is Bob's because I don't see a single wasp. He has hundreds of wasps in that box, so I don't know. Back to Bob. How do you say?
Well, if you look real carefully in the crook of the very first antenna coax, you'll see a couple of little tiny wasp nests. So they got knocked out today. There weren't any wasps in there. So let me drop this for a second. This is the remote switch for my antennas on my short tower. The terminal strips are lightning protectors for the rotor and for the antenna switch, and so that's what's inside them. The labels say 2 meter vertical, 2 meter horizontal, 220, 440, and 10 meter vertical. And the cable coming in is LMR 600, and the cables going out are RG8 or 213 or whatever you want to call it nowadays, and they're connected to polyphaser lightning protectors. So that's the box that's out by the short antenna, N6PGQ.
So Bob, any question, Carol? question for you, Bob. This goes, it's one cable, one coax coming in and going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if it goes to all 5 or just 4 of them. Which antennas do you have, are you feeding with that single coax? Because I may want to do something like that here as well.
Well, I kind of read them off. I've got a 2-meter vertical, 2-meter horizontal beam, 220 vertical beam, a 440 vertical beam, and a 2-meter just vertical antenna, and my silly 10-meter antenna.
So you have another physical switch at the shack that you actually connect that coax to different equipment. Is that correct?
Yeah, for this set of antennas, there's one coax coming out of a switch here in the shack that selects different radios and goes out to the switch near the antenna. And when you flip the switches and all that kind of switches from one antenna to the other, and you may have noticed once in a great while, I forget to switch the silly thing, so I'm trying to transmit, and nothing happens in 6PGQ.
No, never noticed that, Bob. You would never do that. We have Andrew Murphy on YouTube now. Okay, Carol, if you're ready, please go ahead with your picture.
Okay, Roger, this is going to be PD120.
Copy, Carol. KO7HQR. Definitely a color picture this time. Bob, for your comments.
Okay, well that looks like a whole pile of radios. 3 handhelds and a charger on the left. Could be a scanner to the right of it. I can't tell. and maybe I don't know what the two gold dials are. Down in the middle looks like a tablet, and then a microphone, and to the right a mobile rig that's sitting there being used, and then some kind of scanner or something to that underneath. It has a bluish display, and then down on the very bottom right is a switch, probably an antenna switch of some kind. N6PGQ.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I see here a good copy, a good picture, very few pops. I do see the three black handy talks, and there is another one in the charger, and a white one on the right-hand side. Bob describes it pretty well. I think the two little round golden dials on the right-hand side, I don't know what they are, but they remind me of weather stations, wind direction and speed and things like that. The round item in the bottom, right above the KP4MD, I have no idea what that would be, but good copy, Carol. Please go ahead.
Okay, very good. This is KP4MD. Well, this is a picture I just snapped of my my armchair side living room operating position, and I really just got it nicely organized because of that little pedestal. It's actually a monitor stand, but I'm using that to hold up the radios on top. So it gives an extra level. This is a little table that I have next to my armchair in front of the living room television. And yeah, the top row, you see there's three handheld radios. The two on the left are Chinese. The first one is a TYT. I think it's a UVF9, which is a dual band, similar to a Baofeng. And the one to the right of that is a Baofeng UV5R that I just picked up at the Lincoln Hamfest, $15. It was pretty neat, practically new in the box. It was a spare that someone had. They decided to sell it. And then the Yaesu FT60R, which is a good old standby. That radio is about 11 years old, but it's still quite a workhorse. The silver thing to the right of the FT60 is just a Panasonic cordless phone. It's on its own little charger there, and I like to have it in reach of the armchair if somebody calls. Underneath those, so there was a Amazon Fire tablet that you see to the left of the microphone, and that handheld mic. And there's a little mobile rig that's mounted right on that top of that little pedestal platform, and that's an Anytone AT779UV. It's 5, 10, or 20 watts. It actually will cover UHF and VHF, both 2 meters and 440. But it's actually sold as a GMRS radio, and that's what I use it for. I bought it to use for my GMRS since I'm licensed for that. And below the pedestal and that space under there is a scanner. It's an old Uniden Bearcat scanner. That I'm the original owner of that. I bought that through a some kind of overstock clearance service. Just drop it a moment here. Yeah, this is a BC210 XLT. It's got the blue fluorescent display, which I really like. It's nice and bright, and it has a total of 40 memory channels in there. It covers low band VHF, high band VHF, and 400 to 520 megahertz. So, and you can either scan. You could go direct entry with the frequency and scan the bands, or you could put up to 40 memory channels in 2 banks. So I've held on to it all this time. It's strictly analog, doesn't do any trunking or digital. But I like to use it to just to listen, monitor my favorite ham repeaters, and I also put the GMRS channels on the other bank of memories. What you're seeing on the right side, the extreme right side, Nothing to do with ham radio. The two dials there are just it's a desk thermometer and humidity meter. I guess I call that a hygrometer. And that's sitting on, that's actually on top of a spare 12 volt 8 amp hour battery. It's a sealed lead acid battery, since I'm powering that mobile radio off the lead acid battery. And the little thing below the weather station is just a little handheld wireless keyboard that I have connected to my smart TV, so I could type stuff in on the little keyboard. It's a little easier than doing the cursor. Although it has a little pad there, a little touch pad, which you could also use to move the cursor around on your smart TV. So that's it. Thought it was a cute little picture to share. Back to Net, KP from D.
Well, pretty good description there, Carol, and very interesting. Interesting that everything is so consolidated, so small, and I can see that Craig Bruce on YouTube had mentioned about the wireless keyboard there, which I had not noticed. I mentioned temperature, wind speed, and direction. I was wrong on that, but it was weather related, so it's pretty good. Bob, any other questions or comments?
Nope. Real nice compact setup. Thanks for the description, Carol. N6PGQ.
That was looking for. I couldn't come up with. So, anybody else would like to join us on the SSTV Net tonight?
Where's the HF? AI6DG.
Oh, AI6DG, a new person. You join us tonight. Thank you for coming by.
Sorry I was late. I was busy on the computer off doing something else, and all of a sudden realized, oops.
You failed test number 1, my friend, but you're welcome. This time, we'll let it go. We have Bob, myself, and Carol. And if you have a picture, before I send mine, if you have a picture, please go ahead.
Okay, do we have tone?
What's tone?
Was there tone?
That it was Latin for it. We have tone.
PD 120.
Hey, Joe, KL7HQR. Yeah, good copy here. A little bit dark, but I'll leave my comments for later. N6PGQ, Bob, your comments.
Well, looks like we're at a resort or some nice dining location overlooking a bay. There's quite a few umbrellas for the tables for people that are eating, and an overlook with a fence that is there with a couple of people looking down the hill. Real pretty in 6PGQ.
Very well. Carol, KP4MD, your comments. Well, Carol, if you're busy, let me go to let me go give you my comments, and then we'll go back to you. As Bob says, this looks like a very high place, looking a beautiful bay. It looks like it's a sunset. I doubt if anybody would be there at this time on a sunrise. So it's looking west. The middle is fairly dark, so I cannot see if there are buildings or bungalows or what is on the middle there, but it appears to be a city. We have some sun umbrellas up here on top. There is a little patio with a couple of people overlooking the scene. And it looks like a beautiful location. Like Bob said, it could be a very nice place for a nice evening dinner. Carol, let's see what you have to say.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. I just had to find the button on my screen here to click to start talking. Okay, yeah, this is some, I don't know what this is. You saw the picture I got. I got a little bit of multipath fading band. So this is the problem with my just reception of the repeater on this side. That's that fading that you see through to the picture. But it looks like you're I don't know if this is on a cruise ship. There's a deck there with a bunch of umbrellas, and looks like a wooden plank walkway, and looking out over some kind of a port, perhaps, with the sun either rising or setting there in the distance. But it's very interesting, and there's some kind of a tower in the distance there on the right side. But I'm imagining these people are all around a cruise ship, because especially those two people that are kind of looking over the railing there in the lower right-hand corner. I would say they're on the top deck of some of cruise ship. So back to Nets, KP4MD.
KL7HQR. Yeah, it could be a cruise ship. I have not seen a cruise ship with those umbrellas there, but it looks like it would be a nice setup. So let's see what you have to say, Joel, a 6DG.
You're all kind of right. I've only been on a cruise once. It was like a 10-day cruise. I don't know, 7 ports or something. Took off from someplace in Florida, went through the Caribbean, Cozumel, I think, was one of the last stops, and then it zoomed back up to Florida. I had a great time, lots of pictures. I've filled up my 15 gig of space on Google. I've been going through pictures, cleaning up stuff, and finding stuff from years back. But that's where I usually get the pictures for slow scan night. But it's getting harder and harder to find new stuff, because almost everything in there I've sent at least one picture from by now. but this is from one of the cruises. This is, I had to actually go Google search, do an image Google search for this. This is St. Thomas. And this is, St. Thomas is interesting in that the port, the bay has a tramway that takes up from it and goes up to the top of a nearby mountain. And this is the view from the top of that nearby mountain. So while this is cruise related, this is not a cruise ship. This is a, not really a resort, but a little restaurant, vista, bar type of thing at the top of the mountain. And that pole at the extreme upper right is the pole of holding the the cables for the tram that goes at the top of the mountain. You can actually see the cars. There's 3 cars as a unit that are just coming up and are on the upper right corner. Down in the bay, you might be able to pick out a pier and 3 cruise ships. And out in the harbor, just to the left of the sun reflection, and this is sunset, is another ship out in the water. This was a real pretty spot. It was really nice. I think our cruise ship was the rightmost of the 3 cruise ships down in the harbor itself. The ship out on the left side, way out there a ways, was the Queen Elizabeth II cruise ship. And one of them might have been a Disney ship. There was 2, 3, 4 ships that we kept running into on ports. I guess we're all doing the same loop of ports. Back to net, AI6DG.
Scale 7HQR for the net. Anybody has any comments or questions?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I know exactly where that is, and I'm surprised I didn't recognize it, Joel, but Roger and I went to that exact same place on the island of St. Thomas. We actually we met the St. Thomas Amateur Radio Club. They have meetings, I believe, on the Tuesdays. I don't know if it's every Tuesday of the week for lunch over at this restaurant called the Hook and Sinker in Frenchtown. And after that meeting, one of the gentlemen that was there offered Roger and I a ride to that little cable tram that brought us to the top of that little hill. And we actually had some drinks over there. And it was quite pleasant and a really nice view from there. I actually I took some pictures, and I'm going to take a look at one, see if I can find one quickly here and maybe share it with you all. So I'll have to look that up, but I think I could do that pretty quickly. Very good, and I could give you the exact name of the place too once I find it again in here. This is KP4MD.
Any further comments, Joel?
Oh, probably, but I've forgotten.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I've been to St. Thomas and cruised several times, but never been to that spot. I did not know it existed. A couple of times that I go there, we go up to St. John and do snorkeling, and that's where I buy my video stuff, my cameras. There is a store there called the Royal Caribbean store, and they have very good price for video cameras. So I'm going to look for this place. And Carol, if you can find random pictures like that very quickly, your record organization must be 100 times better than mine. Anybody else with any further comments before I send my picture?
Okay, I came up with some more comments. My mind started working again.
Not too late, but go ahead anyway.
First off, I'm sure the transmission does not do justice to the actual photo. There's lots of details I'm sure you guys can't see. The reason that Queen Elizabeth was not in the harbor itself, I don't know if it was too big, or maybe there was probably not enough room. Maybe they didn't book in time, because I think there was only room on the pier for 3 ships, and there were 4 ships in port that day. And this was the harbor where it became very evident to me the true maneuverability of those ships, because it's not just the propellers at the back of the ship. They got those little things underneath the ship that they can turn around and point in any direction and have the ship go in any direction. Because when we pulled out of this port, the ship just kind of like gently slid backwards backwards and sideways, kind of into the middle of the harbor, and then literally did a 180 around the center of the ship. It was just absolutely amazing how they can what they can do with those ships. Those things are huge. I think this was also the port that made it very evident just how big the ships are, because or at least one of the places became very evident, because you get off the ship and you're on this pier and you look up and you're looking up like a 10-story building, the site of this of the cruise ship. Back to net, AI6DG.
Mike Delta.
And they share your awe of those devices, and their maneuverability is incredible. And they're coming up with bigger ships, unfortunately, because I like the smaller ones. I'm about to go on the one of the Princess smaller ships, and I like the older ones a little bit better than the bigger ones. Okay, so let's go, and I'll send a picture, and then we'll send it back to Carol for her, if she found the picture to send her. I sent a picture out the other day, and the question was, where is this? This one is, what is this? 120. Okay, it's not working. I'm going to have to reboot my signal link. So, Carol, if you have anything that you want to send, go ahead.
Yeah, Roger. The name of this place is Paradise Point. Paradise Point on Charlotte Amalia. Does that ring a bell with you there, Joel?
I'm not sure I knew the name of the place. I just knew that it was an amazing view, and there was a cable going up to this amazing view. I don't think I even bought anything up there. Just took lots of pictures and enjoyed the view.
Okay, I'm going to send a picture here of the view that I took from Paradise Point, which was at the top of that tramway on St. Thomas. This is PD 120.
Okay, Carol, good copy. Good copy. So let's start with Bob, N6PGQ.
Well, it's obviously a different view, and you can sure see the port that's there. There's quite a few pixel pops, unless those are little tiny ships, which they might be, but the other ones are colored. It's a interesting picture. I'm interested to hear Carol's conversation and tell me which of the cruise ships are down there, N6PGQ.
Okay, I'll give my comments. Yeah, good copy here. Yeah, either are there small boats there in the water, or there are a lot of specks. There are quite a few specks. I see here on the right-hand side a Carnival ship that I can't recognize because of the whale tail funnel, and the other one in the back I do not recognize. Definitely not a princess. Oh, it could be a celebrity if there is a blue and white X in there. But good picture, and also I am curious about it. Joel, your turn.
Zoomed in a little bit down into the port, to the pier, and I think some of those are specks and some of them are little boats, little sailboats down on the water. Me, I'd agree Carnival, and I don't know. I was thinking maybe Norwegian, but celebrity, yeah, that's possible. I'm sure that the paint job on the bow is pretty distinctive. It looks like one of the really big ships, though, but then I guess they're all pretty big now. I mean, they're not making small cruise ships anymore. Yep, someone's having fun. Lots of people on those ships are having a fun day. Back to Net AI6TG.
Okay, Carol, back to you. What's the story behind this one?
Okay, this was Roger and I took a day trip from our timeshare over in San Juan, Puerto Rico. There's got one of these little seaboard airplanes. I think they seat about 20 people. And it's the ride from San Juan over to the Charlotte Amalia Airport in St. Thomas is only like about 30 or 35 minutes. So we, like I said, we went over to Hook and Sinker restaurant to meet the Hams there. And then this one gentleman took us very graciously to Paradise Point. And well, he just dropped us off there at the tram, and we took the tram up to the top there. And I went to the edge of the railing and I have some other pictures of the people sitting down there, you know, on the terrace where we were up at the top. But this looked so good, like a kind of a picture, postcard picture. I just wanted to snap this. I really don't know the names of those ships down there in the lower part there. But that there's a couple of islands in the distance. One of them, I believe, is Hassel Island, and there's another one called Water Island, which is further out in the harbor there. And behind Hassel Island, I believe, was docked another ship that you could only just maybe see a piece of it because it's hidden by the hill, which is supposed to be one of the largest, or maybe the largest cruise ship in the world at the time. I'm trying to remember. It was something of the oceans or something of the seas or something. You probably know all that because I don't know the names of cruise ships. But it was just such a picture perfect shot that I took that with my little I think it was my Canon camcorder, and I took it in still frame mode, and that was in 2016, so it was in the summer of 6 years ago, and was a really memorable time. And yeah, there are a number of sailing ships that you could see in the distance there. Not too many. I didn't see too many boats out in the harbor that day. I think Bob, you're just seeing a lot of pixel pops. So back to Net. This is KP for MD.
Well, Well, thank you, Carol. That was a good description. Yeah, those, the ships that, the companies that have the off the seas are as Royal Caribbean. They have the Oasis of the Sea and the Harmony of the Seas, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, but I cannot see enough there to recognize. St. John St. Thomas is one of my favorite stops there in the Caribbean. It's really, really enjoyable. Haven't been there now for quite a while. And they suffered a lot with COVID. But looking forward to maybe in a year or two to go back there. Thanks so much for sharing. Obviously, it was a good memory for you, and it kind of made it very meaningful to us. Any further comments? And otherwise, I'm going to try to see if I can send my picture.
I said Queen Elizabeth II was actually the Queen Mary II, AI6DG.
That's a beautiful passage. You go to point A to point B. As far as all the ships, the Hurricanes. The other ones, no, they're built just like a freight train. They're going to go and they're going to be stable to go there. Beautiful ship. Okay, let's see if I have a tone.
Yeah, that was the Oasis of the Seas. It was the largest cruise ship at the time.
Well, you're absolutely correct, because the Oasis of the Sea was the largest ship, cruise ship in the world, and it was 6,000 passengers. The first one was 6,000 passengers and 2,200 crew. That's quite a big city aboard. Well, something happened. I do not have tone here. I have rebooted SSTV 3 times and reset everything, and I don't have tone. I had it when we started and delay my picture for next time. Anybody else has a second picture they would like to send? Okay, well, apparently not, but thank you for showing up a little late and joining us. You've contributed, made it a little more fun here. And Carol, I am impressed with your record retrieval there and your memory to remember all those places. Bob, thank you for your cooperation, and I definitely want to take a look at what you did with that antenna switch, because maybe something that I would like to copy in a smaller scale for me here. And I have no idea what happened here to my system. Any questions before we close tonight? Well, thank you guys. Thank you, young lady, for the participation tonight. Thank you, Craig Bruce there on internet. And who else was there? Murphy was there. And I appreciate your presence and looking forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. Good night. KO7HQR, net control for tonight, closing.